Let's fucking roll. All right, everybody, welcome back to McBaster Studio. I'm Brad Banyas. You're listening to the SaltyMF Go podcast. Today, we're really excited to get into kind of the bare knuckle fighting and background behind it. And to join us is a recent champion here in Georgia for bare knuckle fighting. And so welcome, Harrison Aiken. Welcome, brother.
Thank you so much for letting me come.
Yo, man, it's all. You and I were talking before. Hopefully we can capture some of that because it's just, you know, that's my favorite part, just kind of just talking. And, you know, you were telling me a little bit about your story and, you know, kind of being the underdog. And I just want to hear your story, like how you got into bare knuckle fighting and boxing and, you know.
Well, so I grew up, my dad, God love him, but he struggled with addiction just like I did. He had to do some time, and I grew up with a single mother with a brother as well, and me and my brother, we would just fight all the freaking time. So my mom, she put us in sports where, you know, but I'm always getting in trouble, and I'm always getting like suspended or something. And so, you know, I didn't have really a big role model growing up, so I was always continuously getting in fights, getting in trouble. And, you know, fast forward, you know, to high school, I could join wrestling because I needed an outlet to get all this aggression and stuff that I had out. I did pretty well. I went to Riverside Military Academy in Gainesville, Georgia. So I wrestled for them, placed second in state, and then went into the military for a little bit. And, you know, I just, like, when I got out, I didn't feel like I had like a purpose. I wanted to do something that I could just be like, okay, I need to strive to be better on a daily basis. So like I started doing MMA when I was about 20 years old. And my first fight, I was picked up, slammed, broke 2 ribs. Like it was the most brutal awakening. I was like, oh my God, what did I just get myself into? Like, just got demolished by this elite wrestler. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, like, I'm going to have to heal up and I'm going to have to really focus on getting better. So I joined, you know, an MMA team out in Gwinnett County. It was known as the Lima Brothers Gym, which was ATT Gwinnett back in the day, but now they've branched off and done their own thing. But so I started learning under them, and, you know, I started just getting better. I would box every single weekend. I would just go to any event that I could find, and I would travel and just do whatever I could just to start getting better. Started winning fights, ended up getting 2 MMA championships. One was down in Panama City. I won by knockout. And then one was in Alabama that I won by knockout. We actually got escorted out by the police because we caused a riot. So that's a whole different story. We went down there. We stole the show. I showed my ass a little bit because like everybody was telling me I'm getting knocked out. Well, definitely didn't happen. So we ended up fighting for the Georgia light heavyweight title against a guy who is now in the UFC. His name's Carl Williams. He's a really, really good friend of mine now. But, you know, I fought him. It was at the Pink Pony. It was right out back.
Never been there, honey. I've never been to the Pink Pony.
So we fought. Went all 3 rounds. It was unanimous decision. He was a really hard fight for me, but I remember in the 3rd round, he was whooping me. Like I'm like my thing is like just never give up on yourself. It doesn't matter. There's a time limit on this stuff. So as long as you see it to the end, I was more proud of myself during that fight than I was even when I won these championships because this guy was a high level elite athlete. And you know, the cards were stacked against me. And so ended up losing that fight, but I grew so much more from that just because I knew I had what it took to dig deeper. In the 3rd round, he had put me in a standing guillotine. He lifted me off the ground. My feet are probably like 2 feet off the ground. And I was just sitting there and I'm like going beet red, turning purple. And they're like, he's going to tap, didn't tap. He ended up dropping me back down, and at the end of the fight, he was like, "Dude, you are one tough son of a bitch." And I was like, "Yep, I just don't want to give up on myself. I'd rather go unconscious before I let that happen." So that was the end of my MMA career. I did take a Muay Thai fight here and there, but that's something that I just didn't really enjoy doing. I cannot stand getting kicked. Like I would rather, dude. I literally like couldn't feel my legs for like 3 days, like nerve damage, all that. I'm like, all right, these guys are something different. So, I was the first amateur to be invited to a tryout for BKFC, and I flew out to Kansas City. So when I flew out there, there was like 50 something people. A guy that had fought Mayweather was there. Wow. So this was like a huge event. They were only going to pick 5 guys, and I was one of those 5. And like there was all pros, and I was the only amateur. So I was just like, all right, cards are stacked against me again. I just spent a shit ton of money. Yeah. Flew out to Kansas City, had a buddy fly with me, and they were like, "We like your aggressiveness. We like who you are. We want to offer you a contract." So they gave me a contract to the Toe the Line series, which was their under BKFC. It's the newest card that they had just started promoting. Took a fight with a guy named Zion Tomlinson, who is actually fighting for a world title now. I think it's this month. So he whooped my ass. Just to say it clearly. Like I boxed for so long, had never touched the canvas in 20-something fights. I'd never been dropped in MMA, never been dropped in boxing, never been dropped in any fight, never taken a knee, nothing. 10 seconds into the fight, I get dropped. Just like, boom. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is unreal. So after I get dropped, they're like, holy crap, he had never been dropped. He got dropped like that. So I just jumped up and I started brawling. And with bare knuckle, it is a very intense sport, but it's like controlled chaos. Yeah. Like you have to be in the moment, and you have to be able to rely on your training and not just go out there and swing for the fences. A lot of people do that, and it's a bloody mess and it's a war, but I like to be more technical, especially as I've grown in bare knuckle boxing. I've learned, being very technical with the way I approach things, I end up winning. Yeah. So now I'm learning, it's very high output. It's very intense, but you just stay composed in that moment, and you just work yourself through it. So, yeah, that's how I got into bare knuckle boxing. One of my best friends, Joe Elmore, he is like just one of the most incredible, like strongest chin I've ever met on anybody. He's never been dropped in any fight, and he was a bare knuckle fighter, or is a bare knuckle fighter. And he's going to be headlining the event that I'm going to be at, which I'll be announcing soon for BKFC. So,
and that's coming up though in December.
Yes,
right?
So December 6th, BKFC is going to be at Gas South Arena. Please come show your support. I'm getting ready. I'm training hard. Me and actually like 5 of my friends are on that card. So
that's
it's going to
awesome.
be like an Atlanta throwdown showdown.
Yeah,
so,
no, I'll be there. We'll definitely be there. That'll be a lot of fun. And that's what over near Gwinnett?
Yes.
So that's a pretty big venue.
Yeah, it's a big venue. Yeah, this will be the biggest fight of my career. I've fought, like I said, for BKFC on one of their smaller shows down in Florida. I also fought for BYB, which is another bare knuckle organization. I fought for them 3 times. So, I've been at the top before. I know what it takes to stay there. And I just, I had to sort of just reel myself in. Like I was taking losses, and I knew that I had to change something in my regiment in order to get me back to that level. Right. I mean, people see the heart that I have, and they see the intensity that I bring, but when you continue to lose, there has to be something that changes in order for you to be able to be like, okay, I can still be here, but I just got to make some changes to make me stay there.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, pugilism, right? A pugilist is a professional fighter, right? I mean, the difference in somebody who just street fights that goes in there and starts, swinging versus someone who's got, rhythm and a method and paying attention, watching if their shoulder dips, watching what they do. I mean, there's a big difference. I mean, I think the bad thing about fighting is like anybody can get knocked out.
100%.
I mean, so it doesn't matter. Like if a grown man, 200 pounds or whatever, gets a good shot on you and you may be a pro, you can get knocked out. So I think, like you said, your focus, keeping yourself in that moment and, really kind of breaking down what's going on versus just coming in and, trying to throw down. And that's hard because you get your adrenaline up, you're ready to go.
You got the fans going
You're ready.
wild.
You're like, I want to just unload. But like if you get caught, like it's over. So, but, so what's been, bare knuckle, I mean, it's, you get concerned about like, obviously, breaking wrists, breaking, knuckles, stuff like that. How do you kind of train, your knuckles, your hands to not,
So I've actually been injured more in MMA,
really,
in boxing than any bare knuckle fight.
Really?
So I've had like 3 surgeries from MMA, 1 surgery from boxing. My last fight, obviously, I came out pretty unscathed. The only thing that happened is I ruptured a tendon in my pinky, which is, does nothing for me at this point. So, I'm just still training. But so my regiment that I do on a daily basis is I do bare knuckle push-ups on the pavement. So it calluses my knuckles and it also builds strength in my wrists. So when I'm throwing bricks at people, like I expect for it to do damage because of all the work that I've put in and toughening up my knuckles. And then, my wrists are basically they are the thing that holds everything together. So if that thing breaks, it's over with. So, I take care of my body very well. I train every day. I run every day. So to me, it's just like recovery is almost more key than the training.
I was going to ask you about the recovery. I know you do a lot of compression stuff.
Yeah. Literally just left there.
Yeah.
Like I literally left Activate IV and cryotherapy. They were one of my sponsors, and then Stretch Lab as well. They take care of me like I'm like a superstar, and that's what I need in order to be able to do this daily grind. And it's hard. It gets hard at times, and I get sore and I get tired and my hands hurt, but I just push through it. And I know that I have these sponsors of mine to fall back on, and I come there, I get to get stretched once a week, and I can go to Activate every single day if I need to.
Yeah. Do you do the drips? Do you ever do the drips?
Yep. Yeah. I do an athletic IV. So basically when I'm really, really just in the middle of camp and I'm just completely drained of everything, I do an athletic drip and I just feel so much better within a day, like even almost immediately, really. But like my training going forward is just feels like I've been replenished.
Yeah.
So
when you're sparring, is it typically you guys got light gloves on? I mean, you're not. You're not.
No,
bare
so I trained for the Gomez boxing team over in Gainesville, Georgia. Our sparring is intense. We wear a headgear. We wear 16-ounce gloves. They pick my own opponents. They bring people from other gyms because, my team is they help me get ready. So the last thing I want to do is be busting myself up or busting them up. So especially when it comes to a pro athlete, it's like the fight before the fight.
Right.
And that's what I've been doing. That's what got me so prepared for my last fight is I had traveled down to Buckhead Fight Club. I had another guy that was a national champion as an amateur come up and he put it on me. Had another guy over in Gainesville. He was like my main sparring partner. He was a really big dude, and he got me ready. So, and when we go in there, like we treat it like a fight. And a lot of people, some people don't really like that. They look at it. Okay, you should do more technical sparring, dude. No, I'm getting into a bare knuckle fight. I'm not about to sit there and pitter pat with you and be technical because at the end of the day, if I can't take getting punched with 16-ounce gloves, I damn sure can't take getting punched with a bare knuckle.
Absolutely.
So we get down.
So on the is the weight class the same as in regular boxing? Is they have the weight classes the same?
Yeah, they're generally the same. My last fight was at heavyweight. I was very, very small. I was having to basically eat anything and everything in front of me just to make heavyweight. My next fight, I'm going down 2 weight classes to 185. Yeah. So 185 is where I've done most of my fights at. It's where I'm most comfortable at. I'm quick, fast, super strong. I hit that dude with the kitchen sink, like at heavyweight. I hit him with so many hard shots and he just didn't go down. I was like, dude, you're a tough motherfucker, dude. Like I literally hit you with everything I had. I hit him with an uppercut one time and he took like 4 steps back, leaned into the fence. And I'm like, why the fuck didn't he just go down? Like, this is not what I planned for when I threw that.
Yeah. But you were pretty, like, I know that you've dropped you're down
20 something pounds.
Yeah, you're down. I was going to say, so I mean, but it's not like you're a small dude. You were 225, 230.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was he like 260? He looked to be a pretty big guy.
He was like 245 and I was 216 the day of the fight. So like I said, like I'm not comfortable sitting in there with the heavyweights. I know I'm going to be faster no matter what. You're not going to find a heavyweight faster than I am, but I just don't have the frame for it. So 185 is my wheelhouse. Even if if I really want to make a world title shot, I'm going to 175. And 175, I'm knocking people out. Like I don't see anybody in there at 175 that can handle what I'm going to dish out.
That's cool. So isn't Conor McGregor involved in this league somehow?
So yeah, Conor McGregor is the co-owner of BKFC. Okay. So he, I think that got finalized sometime last year, and so now BKFC has just jumped from a complete different following to like global. Yeah. Like it was already global. But it was like, okay, they're doing this new sport. Yeah. They're
kind of underground.
And they're making noise. They were making noise, but now Conor McGregor came on, and it is just, I mean, it's next level. You have a multi-billionaire that is backing you for everything. Yeah. So the opportunities are endless, and that's how I think. I'm like, dude, I go in there, I put on a fucking show for this and bleed as much blood as I can. This dude's going to be like, I love him. I want him. He needs to stay. Yeah. And that's my plan. December 6th, I'm going to lay it all on the line. Whether I have to bleed or get stitched up or break some hands, like I'm literally giving it everything I have for me, my family, my future. I mean, this opportunity comes once in a lifetime for some people.
Absolutely.
And this is my second time. So this is like, God's plan. Yeah. God had a plan. And I think that, as long as I continue to strive to be better, the opportunities are endless.
Yeah. I haven't known you a long time, but I can tell like it's in you. You've always had it in you. I think it's the focus now and what you're talking about and the way you're looking at it. Right. It's a lot different. It's like when you get into something, you're like, okay, I'm going to commit. I'm going to be professional at this. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I'm going to do. And that's a big difference. I know I like fighting or I like boxing or I like, MMA. I mean, everyone thinks they're an MMA guy now or they're out there wrestling or what. I'm like, dude, you have no difference between the highest level boxer and what you're doing right now. Mm-hmm. Or just because you're going to do jiu-jitsu at the local fucking gym, you get in there with someone who really knows what they're doing. They're going to
fold you up like a pretzel
and not even try. Right. It's just that. And I see it in you, man. And we're excited to, just hook up and promote you and get you going because I know that a lot of people here locally, you're a local guy. So, it's Foco County, Foco, USA, but Harrison's a local guy. And it's just awesome to see. I know you were down at the Battery. That's where you won that was the first sanctioned, like
legal bare knuckle fight in the state of Georgia. Yeah. And, I had some opportunities. I had an interview. And I told everybody, I was like, I'm not losing this fight. Yeah. I don't give a fuck what he brings. I don't care what, like, I'm not losing this fight. This is history. It's a great thing to be a part of history, but to say you're there, no one can take that. No one can take that title, but except for me. And I own that. And I was like, I'm going to fucking grind and do whatever I have to do to, I was trying to knock his ass out in the first round to make it special, but you know, he was tough, and I commend him for making it a fight. But yeah, man, I'm just like you said, my focus is next level now. Like, I have never focused this hard on making it to making it to the top. I want to be at the top and look down one day and be like, damn, I just traveled all the way from down there, from the depths of hell, and now I made it all the way to the pinnacle. And I'm looking up, and I can hold my head up and just be like, there's nothing that you can't do.
Absolutely.
There's literally nothing that you can. I don't care what people say to you. If you put your mind and you just stay consistent and you do whatever it takes, it's all about sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. I wake up early. I do what I have to do. My wife, she does what she has to do. She's in school right now. So I'm daddy daycare at night. Like, I'm having to make all these sacrifices in order to make things tick perfectly. But it's a team, and I have a great team of sponsors. I have a great boxing team, great coaches, and you know, they believe in me. Everyone believes in me, and like that's one thing that I struggled with, especially when I was in addiction. Like, I had very low self-belief, and I fought because I wanted to fight demons. I wanted to fight the demons from my past and everything that I had dealt with as a child. And now it's like, I fight because I love it. I fight because I know that I've made it through the hardest parts in my life, and now this is just only going to get better.
Yeah. And you know, yesterday's gone, right? And that's such a hard, like, it's a simple saying, right? Yesterday's gone. But so many people, like, can't give up what happened in the past. And in a fighting world, that might be a loss, right? Or in golf, a shitty swing, or you bogeyed and you're fucked out. But I mean, like, yesterday's gone, right? And I heard something that was really, really interesting. It said, true warriors never fight angry. And I thought that was like, because it's just what you do, right? If you're mentally pissed off or whatever, you're not going to be thinking, versus the guy that's not really angry at you or whatever. He's calculating for you to make that wrong move 100%. To put you down. That's the difference in a pugilist.
And that's what I used to be like when I was young. I was so angry at the world, so angry at what happened with my family, and just like, I would go in there pissed off, and I was going to rip your head off, and then I didn't fight as good as I probably could have. Absolutely. And now I'm focused. I got everything good going for me. And it's that almost that preparation of just being so in tune with yourself and your body, and then everything going on around you. It's like, I'm just calm. And like, that's a dangerous spot for me to be in against someone else, because you get me hyped up, I'll make a mistake. If I'm calm and I'm ready to go, I'm gonna fuck you up.
You burn energy. Like, when you get to that elite level, like you guys are at, right? You burn that energy. Like, you waste that energy.
100%.
Or you're just going in and full ass swinging, and you're not connecting. That energy is gone.
100%.
You're fucked. If that other guy still got that energy cocked up, ready to go, and you're hummed and win and leaning on someone or whatever, it's night time. So what's been? I know it's funny because people try to. Their identity is really what they do, but you're a father, obviously a husband. And what do your kids think about, like, do they like coming to watch you?
Yeah, my kids think I'm a fucking superstar, dude. They're like, oh, sorry. So yeah, my daughters, 10 and 6, they tell all their friends. They're like, my daddy's a fighter. He fights on TV. And so, like, I've gone to like my daughter's school, and they're like, that's the fighter. I'm like, I got like a whole like a whole cafeteria staring at me. But no, it's just like, it's nice to be able to have, I love the younger generation. Like, I love training kids. it's what I'm about to do as soon as I leave here is I'm going to go train a kid. And I just like to help them grow, and it's a discipline thing too. It's like it helps them get discipline that they might not have at home. And like that's what fighting did for me, is give me discipline when I needed it the most. And I was out there acting a fucking fool and I needed that discipline. And so now it's just like, I love the fact that I can just tell my daughters, like, I tell them all the time, I don't care what you want to do, but do it your best. And there might be people that tell you you can't do something or you shouldn't do something. And that's been a part of my story, is like, I haven't always had support in fighting, but I do what makes me happy. And, you know, I stay focused on the end goal. And at the end of the day, as long as I give my 100% effort, I'm proud of myself. And that's the same thing that goes for my kids. As long as you put forth your best effort, I'm never going to be upset with you.
Absolutely. You know, a confident man should never seek approval from anyone.
100%.
And that's hard to learn because you don't grow up that way, right? You're told to do this, respect this, and everybody's got a fucking opinion on everything. And the reality is, but if you're confident in what you're doing or what you want to do, sports, fighting, whatever it may be, other people's opinions shouldn't matter.
Yep.
Because they're not going to go through it. That's what I find. Most people that try to tell you not to do something would never go through it anyways. So why are you going to listen to somebody that wouldn't go down that path, tell you not to go down that path? You know?
I understand that.
I mean, I don't know.
I totally understand that.
But every day that happens, right? I mean, every day you take advice from, and I'm not saying don't take advice from somebody or don't listen to them, but if you believe enough in it, and like I said, you and I are talking, I mean, look, you're going to lose in life.
Yeah.
You're going to fucking lose. You're not going to win everything you do. I don't care if you're playing baseball, football, basketball, boxing, MMA, whatever you're doing, jiu-jitsu. You will never win every fight you've ever been in. You will never win everything you ever do. And I think that's the problem with society right now is everybody thinks, oh, well, you know, this football team, they're not undefeated. Okay, well, they're playing in the toughest fucking conference, and that team on the other side is just as talented, working just as hard. They play each other 10 times. One may win 5 times, the other 5 times, or 4 and 6.
Yeah.
You're not, and that mentality, I think that's what sets people back. They're scared to fucking do it because they're afraid, oh, well, you might lose your first fight, you might lose your second fight, you might lose your third fight, and then all of that, one day you may be a champion. And that's hard to fucking, like, people don't want to take that loss.
Yeah.
They don't want to, it's too much.
And I've been there. Like, my first 2 fights in MMA got destroyed. And people are like, hey, man, this might not be for you. And I was like, just watch. Just wait. Just wait and see. I have this dog in me, and I don't like being told I can't do something because then I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to give everything I have into it. And nobody ever thought I was going to be a 2-time MMA champion. Nobody ever thought that I was going to make it back to the BKFC. You know, I told you, I've been an underdog my whole life. So I'm used to people not believing in me. But as long as I believe in myself, as long as my wife believes in me, that's all that matters, you know? And then I have these beautiful girls looking up to me and like, Daddy, you can do anything you put your mind to. Like,
that's awesome.
When I win these medals and shit, first, I don't even care about them. Like, I give them to my daughters, and they just like, they think that's the coolest thing in the world. And they just like being able, like with my fight purse, my last fight, I didn't spend any money on myself. I got caught back up on bills, and I went and bought my kids bunk beds. Like, that's what they wanted. Like, and I like, people think like I'm over here like just living this luxurious life, and it's not that way. It's a daily fucking grind, and I'm not gonna stop until I make it all the way to the top. And like I owe that to myself.
Absolutely.
I owe that to my kids. And once my kids can, you know, one day when they're old enough to let me tell them my story, they're gonna be like, damn, Dad, you went through some shit. I even get a little emotional just talking about it because I have. I've been through a lot, and it's been a grind. And I appreciate where I was. I appreciated the struggle that I went to. I appreciated, you know, not doing the right things and having to learn the hard way, because now my life is so much better. I might not have all the shit in the world that I want, but I appreciate things so much more without the monetary value of things. Like I used to have a lot of things and I lost it. And now I'm working my way back there, but I'm going to appreciate it so much more this time because I had to fucking earn it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't given it to me.
You know, saying is that, you know, I don't quote a lot of things, but like God will break a man down to nothing before he builds them up to be great. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that is you have to experience kind of what the worst times are, whether you like it or not, whether it was your fault, whether it's someone else's fault, because a lot of times it's not someone's fault, it's something else happening to them. But you almost, when you go down to nothing or you're in a hard time or whatever, and then you come back, it's kind of it's a little bit sweeter, and you think of it a little bit different.
100%.
Right? We've been in business where I thought, you know, when we first started, like, fuck, we're done. And you just keep going, and then something good happens, and something else good happens, and then you can look back and appreciate, just like you said, remember where you were at that time in that process. And some of my best times with my family and stuff was when I didn't have anything, when I had nothing.
I totally agree with that.
It was such. I mean, I look back like, man, we were fucking poor, right?
Yeah.
But no one knew. No one cared. Everybody was happy. So just, you know, all the material things in life that we're all, I want a yacht, I want all this. You know, that in the end, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Can't take it
Do
with
what you fucking want to do and surround yourself with people that give a shit about you, are rooting for you, are there for you all the time. That's what I think, whether you're a fighter, businessman, podcast guy, whatever like it says, you know, that's what I want. I want 2 or 3 people just standing behind me. That's all you need.
And like, since I've changed my life, since I've gotten sober, like I had to make a lot of amends, like at a lot of fucking amends, dude. And like the fact is like, even though some people in my family might not like that I fight, they still love me. They still support me. They still will do anything that they physically can to make sure that I'm okay. And I didn't have that because I was doing the wrong things and I had lost my way and lost myself. And I was almost a burden. Yeah. And now, like, I have a great relationship with my mother, a great relationship with my father. My brother actually wants to be around me. That's like, awesome. And this is all just because of hard work and consistency in doing the next right thing. And like, you can get real sidetracked super quick, but as long as you just keep your mind focused on what's in front of you, like I take it one day at a time. They say it all the time in the meetings that I go to, one day at a time. And that's it, man. Like, just put your best effort into what's in front of you. Don't worry about what the fuck's going on around you because it's still going to be there.
Yeah, you can't change it anyways.
Yeah.
Like, you can't change it. And the addiction demon is wide and broad. The addiction demon gets a lot of people, you know, and it's hard to break out of that whole process. And when people do it, it's awesome. And when people know that, you know, they don't want to go back, and there's a greater thing at the end of the road or on down the road, maybe not the end of the road. And I think people just, I like you telling that story because a lot of people have issues with addiction and it gets them, you know? So,
yeah, I'm always, like, I always keep my DMs open for like stuff like that. Like, some people just feel like, and I've been there, like, you've lost family because the decisions that you've made, or you've lost a loved one, or gone through divorce or something like that, or you can't talk to your parents or something like that. Like, I want to be that person I don't care if you're a stranger from wherever, dude. Like, I've been there. Yeah, so I'm not going to ever turn a helping hand away. And like, that's a part of like my story too, is like, when I do make it to the top, when I stay at the top, that's something that I'm going to promote. Yeah.
Because it gives people hope.
Mental health, addiction, awareness, like, that's something that it's not talked about enough. And like, growing up in a family full of addicts, like, that was my life for 35 years. So now it's like, what if I can just help one person out? I don't in my whole career, if I could just change one person's life with my story, I did my job. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't have to be a million. Doesn't have to be, you know, just one person, and make their life change to where they know that someone cares enough that, and they know what they are exactly going through, and that we can relate. Like, that's one of the biggest things that I've learned is, like, in the meetings that I go to, is like the most relatable thing is pain.
Yeah.
Pain.
Yeah.
And like when you can relate to somebody on that level, that's where you form a relationship, and you can absolutely help somebody change their life.
Absolutely. And I think that's awesome that you can recognize it and know that, you know, you can help someone because you've been there. Mm-hmm. It's hard. I mean, addiction, I've been around addiction. Everyone's been around someone addicted. Mm-hmm. Maybe not a lot, but someone knows someone's addicted. Alcohol, drugs, whatever it may be. And it's a painful process to watch people go down that road too, even if you're not, right? Because you can tell someone don't do it, why you shouldn't do it, but at the end of the day, you know, they're not gonna listen to you.
100%.
You know, they're not gonna listen to you. Man, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited to see you in December, and I love your mentality, and you're a salty motherfucker, and so you fit right in the McBastard studio, and so a lot of people don't know, Harris and I met in a fucking weird circumstance. So this is how this whole divine intervention came to fruition. We were in a wreck, I don't know, maybe it was 2 months ago or whatever, and so he was in front of me, and I got smashed from behind, and I was being pushed. And I saw that he had a pretty nice Tundra, which I had one of those. And I was like, man, I can't hit this fucking guy's Tundra. So I'm locked down, trying not to slide into him. But so that's how this divine intervention came into place. And we started talking. And that's funny how shit works. You know?
It is. Yeah, I had no idea, like, obviously who you were. And then you're like, yeah, man, I have a podcast. I'm like, okay, cool. Then I looked you up. I'm like, oh shit, he's got some shit going on. So I'm just grateful to be able to be here and just share my story, share my experience, you know, and just get some people to come and watch me whoop someone's ass on December 6th.
Absolutely. We're going to go Salty Nation when we get out there. We'll when all this is like done and whatever it's, you know, can announce, we'll push that out. And I mean, I'm coming. All my boys will definitely want to come. I definitely get them out there to see it. So, I mean, we're excited, and you know, we like to promote you, dude. You're a good dude, and you know, you're a local FOCO guy. We got to support the local guys, but your story's great. You're a good person. You're trying to help other people, and I mean, fuck it, I love it. And you can throw down, bro. Yeah, you can throw down. I love it.
Yeah. I have two sides of me. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, when I get home, I'm like the sweet, loving daddy. I'll play with you and your toys. When I get in that ring, I'm gonna destroy you.
I love it.
Like, and I've had to learn. I've had to learn to like differentiate that. Like, because I used to walk around just mean as fuck all the time, and then I had little girls, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're the sweetest things on earth. I gotta mold them into beautiful young women. And like, it's a journey, just being able to be a father, be a husband, be a fighter, be a business owner. It's just, it's all about balance. Absolutely. And that's, at the end of the day, like, I wouldn't trade what I have for anything in the world, because like, I am who I am. And you know, God's given me a gift, and I get to use it, and I get to reach other people through it.
Well, my dad told me something that was pretty, I mean, I think back on it, and he's like, when the baddest motherfucker walks in the room, everybody knows. Doesn't have to say anything, doesn't have to do anything. And I think the guys pounding their chest and doing all that, or maybe they're tough, but at the end of the day, there's someone sitting over in the corner, very quiet and very calm. So watch out for those calm guys. They'll fuck you up. If you don't, when you piss them off, they'll fuck you up.
Yeah, don't talk. Don't talk about it. Just be about it.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, I was that guy.
Yeah.
Like I was that guy when I was in my 20s. I'm like, look at me, I got these belts, and I'm like, now I'm just like, dude, who cares?
Yeah, nobody cares.
Who cares? Nobody gives a shit.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thing in life when you learn is you have to care about what you do or what you want to do and your passion and have a few kind of loyal friends. But no one else gives a shit what you're doing. No, they got their own issues. They got their own problems. They're doing the doom scroll on their phone all day, looking at TikToks or whatever. But well, dude, I'm super excited for you. December 6th.
Yes.
December 6th. I'm super excited. We'll be there for you. Anything you want to tell anybody before we cut out on this?
Yeah, just please come show your support December 6th. It's going to be at Gas South Arena. It is going to be a sold-out show. I've heard some news that Conor McGregor will be in attendance. So, I'm just coming to put on a show. I'm coming to steal the show. And all my fans know, like, when I come, it gets rowdy. So we're gonna make some noise.
Who the fook is this guy?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that guy. Hey, as part of the independence of SaltyMF and the freedom that we enjoy here in the United States, we don't like Chuck Schumer, and so in honor of that, I'm going to throw in a Schumi because he's trying to ban these. But anyways, Chuck, stay at everybody's shit. So folks, that's all today. Thank you for listening to the SaltyMF Go podcast. Let's go.